So, one interesting topic which is there for quite some time, which I wanted to pick up also, is related to the Char-Dham project and the controversy. Okay. There is something called Char-Dham controversy or Char-Dham project. Okay. So, in fact, what do you mean by Char-Dham? These are, these are the abodes, or the seat of God. Okay. So, which are the Char-Dhams in India? We have at the four corners of India, Char-Dhams. So, we have Char-Dhams. One is in Badrinath. Okay, one is in Badrinath, another is in Dwarka. Then we have one in Puri, and the other is in the last one in south, Rameswaram. Okay. So, but this is the original Char-Dham, that is where in the four corners of the country. But we also have a Chota Char-Dham, a smaller Char-Dham. Okay. So, in fact, out of these four, three of them, and in fact, it started originally, this Char-Dham concept was started by Adi Shankara, okay, in 8th century. Adi Shankara, he established these Char-Dhams, okay, in the four corners of the country, and three of them are, this Vaishnava centers, like Puri, Dwarka, okay, Puri, Dwarka, and even Badrinath. These are all Vaishnava centers. So, two main sects of Hinduism, like Vaishnavas and the Shivaism, right? And the other one, Rameswaram, is a Shaiva sect. So, but in this Chota Char-Dham, okay, Chota means small, four abodes. Now, we have Yamunotri, Gangotri, then Kedarnath and Badrinath. Okay. And in this Yamunotri and Gangotri, it is representing the Shakti, is it not? So, the goddesses or the three Hindu sects are being represented. This is the Shakti, then Kedarnath is what? Shiva, okay, Shiv, and Badrinath, of course, is Vaishnava. So, whenever we talk about Char-Dhams, these are the abodes, the seat of God, we can say, and that is mainly the main one. Okay, we talk about this is the main Badrinath, Dwarka, Puri and Rameswaram on the four corners. Okay, but the present topic which I am talking is about the Chota Char-Dham, that is what is in news. Okay. And this Chota Char-Dham, Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath, all in Uttarakhand. Okay. And one second. Let me just see states. You can see Badrinath, okay, Gangotri, Kedarnath, okay, of course, Yamunotri, yes, here. So, these are the 4 places, and that is in the great Himalayas or the main Himalayas. You can see Yamunotri here, sorry, Yamunotri, then Badrinath, Gangotri and Kedarnath, okay, all nearby, but in deep inside Himalayas, in the main Himalayas. So, we have 3 ranges of Himalayas, right. So, it is in the main Himalayas. So, when we say the 3 layers or a 3 line, which is the innermost is, what do you call? Himadri. In geography, we will be studying all those things. And then we have the middle Himalayas, Himachal and Shivaliks. So, this is in the main Himadri or the main Himalayas, the inner Himalayas. Okay. So, obviously, it is far inside, it is an ecologically very sensitive region. So, this Char-Dham project is about road widening project. Now, we want to have a very smooth road to Char-Dhams, that is our aim. And in the process, we would like to have, but it is passing through ecologically very, very sensitive regions. It is passing through ecologically sensitive, as well as these are very prone to landslides. It is also prone to earthquakes, okay. And then when you have so much of this rock blasting and all for the road widening, it can create cracks, landslides, even snow slides can be there. When snow slides down, we call it as avalanche. There can be avalanches, there can be landslides, there can be, then of course, this earthquake prone area, anytime earthquakes can take place, because we are very, very, this is a very ecologically and even geomorphologically, in the Earth's crust, there are movements on the Earth's surface, and we are in that zone. We will be talking about that in geography at some point of time, right. So, it's a very, very, and moreover, the ecosystem includes the plants, the animals, all will be affected, okay. The biodiversity, all will be affected. Now, this project was started in 2016, and recently in November, I mean in between, the stories I will tell, in November, on November 21st, 2021, sorry, November 12th, not 21st, November 12th, not important the date, in November 2021, the Supreme Court reserved its judgment, okay, Supreme Court reserved its judgment regarding the road widening project. Now, Supreme Court has not come out exactly what they are going to say. Reserved the judgment means they heard the arguments. Now, final, okay, the final, verdict, and what is that finally Supreme Court is going to say, it has not been mentioned, but all the arguments and all, it is over. So, what happened was that in December 2016, Prime Minister laid the foundation zone, okay, Prime Minister only laid the foundation for the project. And it's a 12,000 crore rupee project, highway expansion project, 12,000 crores, and to widen 889 kilometers of roads connecting all the four, okay, 889 kilometers. Of road, okay. In 2018, in August 2018, when this project came, in March 2018 first, the Ministry of Highways and Road, okay, the ministry declared that this road will be of 5.5 meters width with a 2-lane structure, okay, with a 1.5 meter shoulder just outside the tarred road, 1.5 meters total, total of 1.5 meters of width, additional width, okay. So if this is the road, tarred road, there will be, slightly more. So this is 5.5 meters, and another 1.5 meters means 0.75 on either side. Some strengthening of the road will be there, so that if the vehicle has to come out of it a bit for giving side and all, it can be done, okay, something like that. So the total will be 7 meters. In fact, this 2-lane structure, so the highway department said that this should be the width for all highways. In hill areas, the maximum width should be only, in such critical hill areas, the maximum width should be only 7 meters. That is what the highway ministry only said in March 2018. But in August 2018, some of the NGOs approached the Supreme Court. In August 2018, some NGOs approached the Supreme Court against the project, saying that it can have serious implications on the ecology of the region. Ecology of the region can be affected. Naturally, some people have approached, and if they are not following, and so the matter went on. In August 2019, Supreme Court appointed, after 1 year, Supreme Court appointed a high power committee, HPC. Supreme Court appointed a high power committee headed by an environmentalist, okay, headed by an environmentalist, Ravi Chopra, okay. Now, 1 second. Yeah, Ravi Chopra. Okay, and a 25-member, high power committee, 25 members were there. And in fact, they submitted the report, but unfortunately, they did not agree. The environmentalists and the top environmentalists, 4 of them, including the chairperson, was a minority, and 21 of them on the other side. In fact, they could not agree on anything. So they could not come up with a single report. They came up with 2 reports. One headed by Ravi Chopra, just 4 of them were there, but all of them were environmentalists. This 21 of them together out of which 16 of them were government officials. They came out with a majority report. So, there is a minority report and there is a majority report. And this minority report headed by the environmentalist, he suggested that the road should be road wide, it should be with just 5.5 meters. There should not be any increase or anything. But meantime, what happened was that the ministry, the Ministry of Surface, what you call highways, they have agreed that this can be expanded to some 7 meters wide plus bigger shoulders. Okay, mean bigger width. No, 1 meter plus 2 layers of shoulder, something like that. They were talking about a much where the total width of the road would have been 12 to 14 meters. This proposal came from the ministry in the meantime, and this the majority view, this 21 members said that we should go ahead with 7-meter tarred road plus 12 to 14 meter overall width of the road. So earlier what was that? 5.5 plus 1.5 total should be 7 meter overall width. Now this 21 member committee has suggested that this is not, see, people went to the court saying that even 5.5 meter width is a problem. Now the committee is recommending and saying that koi baat nahi hai, ye to kuch nahi hai, we need 12 to 14 meter wide. So the whole process became opposite. Now the environmentalists and the team, they are saying 5.5 is okay. People were questioning even 5.5. Now the head of the team, they said 5.5 is okay. Others said that no, it should be 12 to 14 meter wide road. Okay. So and meantime, in September 2020, so 2019 High Power Committee was appointed. In September 2020, this High Power Committee, majority report, minority report both submitted to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court accepted the minority report. Okay. Supreme Court rejected the majority report. 21 member report they rejected. Supreme Court accepted the minority report given by Ravi Chopra and limiting the width of the road to 5.5 meters plus 1.5 meters shoulder. Total overall width should not be more than, it's a 2-lane road with a maximum of 7 meter width. So a double laning. Now meantime, after this, the funny thing started. So government did not want to see, this is a problem with our government. Whatever order comes, the government wants to overrule that. Okay. So in November 2020, a new twist was given to this, that is the Ministry of Defence. Now Ministry of Defence entered into the scene. It is not, it's a tourism project connecting pilgrimages, nothing else. Now the Ministry of Defence entered and said that these locations are very sensitive, closer to China border. Okay, closer to China border. So we may have to, and we know we are in a standoff with China. So we may have to move even BrahMos missiles. Kuch nahi mila to BrahMos to Kedarnath. BrahMos missiles. So this is a new, natak and nothing else. Now when the Supreme Court said that, now see the problem with many in the government is, once something is said by them, you cannot change, no matter whatever happens. now you will go to any extent to prove that you are right. This ego is the biggest tragedy in our, in government in many issues. Take the case of the farm laws. See, no discussion with anybody, you pass the law. When people started protesting, now we declared that they are all anti-nationals. And still no meaningful dialogue with the farmers. And finally, when you realize that you are going to lose votes, suddenly we say, no, in national interest I am withdrawing. Earlier you passed the law in national interest. Now you withdraw in national interest. Okay. So this is a big problem. See, this could have been done 6 months before, 8 months before, proper negotiation, it could have been done. But unfortunately, nothing doing. Now, in the name of this BrahMos, Defense Ministry in November 2020 approached the Supreme Court saying that this double lane should have at least 7.5 meters width, the tarred road, plus the overall formation should be around 8 to 10 meters width. Overall formation should be 8 to 10 meters width. Okay. So, 7 meters width, 7.5, 7 meters width, tarred road, plus overall 8 to 10 meters width. Okay. So, now in November, Defense Ministry is saying make it 7 meters with overall 8 to 10 meters. Then in December 2020, the Ministry of Road Transport, they have raised the width. So, earlier the ministry was saying that in hill roads 5.5 plus 1.5. Now, they are saying the hill roads can have a width of 10 meters plus the shoulder, and with overall 12 to 14 meters width. Now, the ministry has changed and said that there can be instead of 5.5 meters which they are prescribing earlier, now they are saying the width can be 10 plus the shoulders put together 12 to 14 meters width. Meantime, in January 2021, Ministry of Defense once again came Okay. Now, this is where all the doubts come. In November, you are going and telling that I need 7 meters width for the road and overall 8 to 10 to carry BrahMos missile. Now, in January 2021, ministry is saying, मैं गलती हो गया, मैंने चौड़ाई गिनने में थोड़ा गलती हो गया, BrahMos missile का width पता नहीं है उनको. Now they are saying, I need 10 meters width tarred road plus 10 to 12 to 14 meters overall width should be there. Are you getting what I am saying? In November only, the Ministry of Defense said that I need around 10 meters. Okay, some benefit of doubt, saying that we may have to carry BrahMos missiles. Now in January, within 2 months, they realized that this overall 10 meters width is not sufficient, 12 to 14 meters width is required to carry BrahMos missiles. ये क्या overnight BrahMos मोटा हो गया क्या? Huh? See, this clearly shows that there is no defense requirement here. This is only using defense to circumvent or even the genuine concerns of environment. Many in the government, they have no respect for ecology, environment, forest, kuch nahi. So, this is the problem which is happening right now. Then, because of the corona, the hearings were not there. I mean, the Supreme Court was not only virtual hearing, only matters of important matters were taken up. So, these things were pending for many years. And finally, in November 2021, when the the government requested the Supreme Court decided to hear on a day-to-day basis. Supreme Court hearing on this issue on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So, that is how the situation has happened. Now, meantime, what the government has done is, now all these arguments, counter arguments were going on. Supreme Court even today has not given a verdict. Supreme Court insisted, see, when already in September itself, Supreme Court accepted last year, accepted the minority report, the width should be only 5.5. And after that, Supreme Court did not change anything. But now you see what the government is doing. The government did not listen to any of these Supreme Court verdict. Government went ahead with its widening process the way they were planning. So this, in the Supreme Court, when the hearing were going on, Ravi Chopra, once again, the High Power Committee chairperson, submitted a report about what is actually happening on ground. That is in November 2021, now just last month. Okay, what has happened after last year's verdict? Last year where it was limited to 5.5 meters. Now what happened? Ravi Chopra submitted a report saying that he said brazen violation of the Supreme Court order, okay, brazen violation of the Supreme Court order, as if the rule of law does not exist. That's what he said. Okay, he submitted a report saying that as if rule of law does not exist. He said, so 889 kilometers long, out of that around 250 kilometers, in 250 kilometers, the felling of trees were going on. The felling of trees were going on, and but the government's argument was that Char-Dham project is an ambitious plan of the Honorable Prime Minister, so we will continue with this irrespective of the Supreme Court order. So felling of the trees continued here. Then in another 200 kilometers, an old forest clearance was used. An old forest clearance, which was given to the BRO, Border Roads Organization, during 2002 to 2012. Okay, there was some forest clearance for some cutting of the trees, which was given in 2002 to 12, which was given for Border Roads Organization. That is used for this project, where they were supposed to take a fresh clearance. They did not take that. And also the hill cutting. Now the biggest problem is when they do the hill cutting, what will happen to the debris, or what will happen to the rocks and the soil? It is dumped into the valley. It is pushed down the slope. And then what happens is, this what is pushed down the slope will reach the rivers down. Okay, whatever is cutting, they are just pushing down into the slope, and that is going into the rivers downstream, and it increases the, first of all, the river water will become muddy. It will increase the silt carried. Silt means the amount of soil which is carried by the water, and it has serious impact on the the animals or the life in the river ecosystem. And massive blasting, rock blasting, can create cracks, and then landslides possible. Okay, so they were just pushing down the debris into the valley. Then in another 200 kilometers, a third 300-kilometer stretch, the government has given, the work has started, claiming that this is not falling under the eco-sensitive zone of, claiming that this is not falling under the eco-sensitive zones of Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary. It is not falling under the Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary. Then Rajaji National Park, as well as Valley of Flowers National Park. Okay. So, in 200-kilometer stretch, the they claimed that these roads are not falling under the eco-sensitive zones of Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary, Rajaji National Park, or Valley of Flowers National Park, etc. And then they started the project. So, this is not somebody else claiming. Please understand, this is a wild allegation by somebody. This is what some report submitted by an environmentalist who was made the chairman of the in a high power committee by the Supreme Court. So, we cannot reject this by saying that this is a wild allegation. We cannot say that this is given by some opposition leader. It is clear cut report submitted to the Supreme Court with all authenticity. That is something, what we know about our constitution is, any Supreme Court order is the law of the land. If Supreme Court says don't construct, then you cannot construct anything. If a court says you do this, you have to do it. But unfortunately, they are claiming, the Ministry of Road and Transport says this is of national importance, Prime Minister's pet project. So, now whoever says we are not bothered. Take the case of the Central Vista project in Delhi. All in the name of pollution, we are asked to stop the classes. But Central Vista project, the biggest polluter, is construction is going on. उसमें कोई problem नहीं है. People, you die, we have no problem, but we will construct. But you don't come to a class. It will affect pollution. It will affect the the health of the people. So no classes should be there. So that is the mindset, unfortunately. Anyway, so this is, and then Now this new defense angle, okay, this new defense angle whereby BrahMos missile को ले आया, कुछ नहीं मिला तो, okay, nothing other than BrahMos. This is a surface to surface missile, okay, and we never knew that we have to fire these missiles from Kedarnath, okay, from the abodes of God, fire this, कभी पता नहीं था, so that China will get, afraid. So this is pure nonsense. There is no defense angle. We never started this project in the name of defense. And if at all it is there, all I am saying is that in November 2020 and February 2021, suddenly the requirement of width of the road cannot increase overnight. If at all it is there. ऐसा नहीं कि ब्रह्मोस मोटा हो गया यार उसका हार्मोन इम्बैलेंस हो गया, ब्रह्मोस सडनली बोला मैं ऐसे नहीं जाऊंगा, थोड़ा आराम से जाऊंगा, ओके. So whatever it is, this is highly unacceptable. See, this is something which is very worrying. See, the worrying aspect is when you have a so-called nationalistic government in power, then don't you think that as part of our nationalism, environment also should be part of our nationalism? Environmental requirements are equally nationalistic. Our forest wealth is part of our nation. So if our nationalistic mindset is only to abuse Pakistan and to show minorities in a poor light, this is the problem with our the whole concept right now. Anyway, so this is what is happening. Supreme Court has yet to give a verdict. And moreover, a fifth point I would like to add here is the many independent experts are saying there should be always a consideration between speed versus stability. You are trying to make a wider road for what? Wider road for speedy movement. Okay. Wider road for speedy movement of traffic, the defense equipments maybe. But in the process, if you are making more unstable roads which are prone to larger landslides, then it can be counterproductive. You might create a speedy road, a wider road, and if it is prone to landslide on a daily basis, or every now and then if the traffic is blocked because of landslide at one point or other. So many environmentalists are saying, and in an unsettled Himalayas, what is required is a stable road which is less prone to landslides. Then we need much wider roads which can result in landslides on a regular basis. So most of them are saying 5-meter width is a very sensible decision or sensible idea given, and according to the high power committee also, they are saying a disaster resilient road is much more critical. According to HPC, high power committee, a disaster resilient road is much more critical than a wider road which is prone to frequent blockades. Critical than a wider road okay. And according to experts, because of this project, we are going to remove 508 hectares of forest. and cutting anywhere between 33,000 to 43,000 trees. And then it is also a problem of removal of roadside trees will, according to experts, will lead to patch isolation. Patch isolation, meaning, see, if it is a smaller road, just see, if it is a smaller road, what will happen? The trees are standing on either side, and the canopy cover will be there from both sides. Now, when you, in the name of widening of the road, if you are widening the road, then you cut all the trees all along the both sides. Now, what may happen is that on one side there may be a patch of trees, and on other side there may be another patch. They are completely isolated from each other. That will have its own problems in the ecosystem. Okay. If it's a continuous forest coverage, okay, then there is a different, what you call, ball game. And now what is going to happen is that it will be, patches will be isolated here and there. There will not be continuity in the forest, and it will have its own problems in the survivability of the ecosystem. So this will affect the survivability of the ecosystem because of the patch isolation. And in fact, most of the road will be passing through the Chir pine forest. And Chir pines are high head weight. These pines are having more head weight, and once you disturb it, what will happen? The chances of other Chir pines to, if they are standing together, there may not be any problem. And if it is removed, a couple of them or rather from one side, the others also will be affected. And ultimately, if these pines are not there, the landslide chances will increase manifold. That's what these environmentalists are saying. The moment you start cutting and removing from both the sides, the chances of landslides will multiply. So there may not be any specific endangered species here, but this Valley of Flowers, which is passing through, Valley of Flowers National Park and all, these are unique national parks in our country. Okay, the Himalayan ecosystem. Rajaji National Park, it's famous for tigers. Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary. So in every wildlife sanctuary or in the national park, one or other species will be there, but nothing that specific to talk about here, but it will have a serious impact, there is no doubt. So common sense should prevail. If Supreme Court is appointing and discussing, we should at least listen to Supreme Court also. But the problem is, when there is a feeling that even if you violate the Supreme Court order, nothing will happen, and if this is a mindset, so now immediately some people will say NGOs are foreign funded. So even if it is foreign funded, what is the problem? Now some people are having problem, and somebody is already writing, sir, these NGOs are all anti-national elements. Okay, they are foreign funded. And what is the problem with foreign fund here? Many of the road projects are foreign funded. And most of the development projects, you will ultimately find some World Bank or IMF or some ADB funding. So all foreign funding is a problem. Foreign exchange is a problem. But घर के अंदर बैठो, बाहर मत निकलो. If foreign funding is a problem, if foreigners are also telling common sense, why don't you accept that? If a foreign NGO, if Greenpeace says something, why should we reject? Because they have better understanding, or they have done research on similar projects earlier. If they are coming out with an idea, if an objection, we should look into that. We are a sovereign country, we can decide on what is to be done. So only because a foreign funded NGO, if foreign funding if it is a crime, then we should not deal business with anybody else. We should not have any business with America. Why are you going to US every now and then? I am talking about the Prime Minister. Huh? कोई काम नहीं है तो US जाके आएगा. Why are we interested in having good relations with, even in the green, in the global warming issue, COP26 and all, why our Prime Minister is going and talking about, see, we are in a globalized world, and we need to do our responsibility. So a foreign funding, and it will hinder our development. Is this development? So the present day, Bhakta Ganonga definition of development is anything and everything which will destroy our natural ecosystem is also development for you. And this is not development, it should be sustainable development. Any development should be sustainable. In the name of development, if you are destroying forest, it's a common property, yaar. Tumhara mera right hai isme. If you destroy our rivers, if you are destroying our forest, you may be thinking, what is my problem? It is your problem also. It is our problem. It is our property. Ambani ke property nahi hai ye forest. Or it is not the property of some ruling party leader. It is the property of all citizens of this country. We have a right to know why are we destroying it. Are you getting this? So please understand, this common property is for the benefit of all. If ecosystem survives, it is for all of us. And if NGOs are coming and raising this issue, if you are seeing that all NGOs are anti-nationals, that's what happened. All farmers agitators were anti-nationals earlier. Abhi wo pro-national ho gaya. Okay. So this is and the problem is, even educated people who are preparing for civil service also think like this. फिर तो अगर तुम गलती से IAS बन गया, तो क्या करेगा यार? देश बेच देगा, सबको बेचेगा. You will sell and उसका भी पैसा बना के उसमें भी दारू पिएगा. तो मुझे वही लग रहा है तुम्हारा attitude देख के. Sir, some NGOs are foreign funded to hinder the development of the country. तुम्हारे कहाँ का development है ये? कोई बात नहीं, ये तो भक्त को कोई sense तो आएगा नहीं. So the most foolish people in this world, I will say, these are the bhakts with no sense, and no sense of constitution, no sense of human rights, no sense of environment, no sense of sustainable development, no sense of humanity, compassion. Okay? So please don't speak the language of some of the bhakts here, at least. Okay? So why no action against the government? Who will take action here? Now, if the government is not following the rule of the law, who will take action? Who will take action? If Prime Minister himself is violating and he controls everything, who will take action against Prime Minister? Nobody can take. This is what is called the breakdown of the Constitution. This is what we call it as the end of rule of law. See, rule of law is a self-imposed idea that all of us should follow that. Okay, if all of us decide to destroy, if the leadership itself decide to destroy, then nobody can support, nobody can make. Please don't understand, the poor man in the street will not be able to implement rule of law. It has to be done from the top. Supreme Court can say, what will Supreme Court otherwise do? They cannot come up with a danda and make people to work. Supreme Court can only give orders. If it is willfully violated, that is the end of constitutionalism. If the government violates this, that is the end of constitutionalism in India. Constitution has given powers to the Supreme Court to give order. but it is to be implemented by the executive. If the executive is not doing, that is the end of constitutionalism. That is what we will be saying, and there is no ilaj, there is no remedy. The remedy ultimately may be with the people. If you think of changing the government after that, if you get fed up of all these things, if you say no, 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 we the government, it happened, but if the people say मजा आ रहा है, ऐसे destroy करो, हमें और destruction चाहिए, ये कुछ भी नहीं है, then only full development will be there. If you and me decide, nothing can be done. Na? We only vote our leaders. Okay, Americans did not vote our leaders to come to power, or we did not vote the Trump to come to power. We have seen what Trump can do for the world. So, please accommodate, please adjust. And so that's about the Char-Dham project, that's the issue.